person's like, why are you driving so slow in a Hellcat? Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over an all-new 2021 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. With that being said, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Hellcat. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Let's hop right into the video. So under the hood we have a supercharged 6.2 liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 13 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 717 horsepower and then 656 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Hellcat. So first off, we have the two hood scoops right there. The dual snorkel hood, whatever you want to call it, looks really cool, and it is functional. Going on from that, you guys can see we've got the projector bulbs with the LED accent lights, got the SRT Hellcat logo there in the front grille, and you guys can see just how massive and imposing everything is here in the front grille. Tons of venting, right? Obviously to feed that supercharged 6.2 liter V8, and yeah, there is the front end. Now coming on the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then part of the Hellcat package is getting the biggest brake calipers and rotors you've probably ever seen on a car. Just crazy the size of these, but obviously you need massive stopping power when you have over 700 horsepower and, you know, a pretty hefty car as well. And I like the wheel design. It's got that kind of old school muscle car aesthetic. Got our not so subtle Hellcat badge there on the side. And then you guys can see here with the full side profile. I love how the gas cap is darkened to kind of match the overall theme of this car, and there you go. So here's our key fob for the Hellcat. You guys can see we obviously have the red key, got your SRT logo there, the unlock, the lock, the remote start, and then the opening here for the trunk, which if we open that up, you guys can see storage space in here is actually really solid. You can see pretty big opening, and then yeah, just lots of storage overall. Nothing too crazy that'll happen in there, so we're just gonna grab this and close it. Now let's finish things up here with the rear. So we have the newer spoiler that kind of folds over a little bit, still has the backup camera integrated into it. We've got the LED taillights here, which again have that cool old school aesthetic. And then you've got the parking sensors there at the bottom with the exhaust tips. And yes, the exhaust sounds amazing from the factory. And there you go. Now here's the door panel at the front. You guys can see the stitching here with the padding at the top. And then you guys can see here with the leather just down below. And then you've got more leather down below that. And then they made this red too to kind of match. Got the window controls right here with the mirror adjustments. Got our door handle right there. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then this does come with the Alpine sound system, memory seats. And then here are the seats. You guys can see full red interior with the white stitching. Got the SRT logo right there. Really nice leather here, perforated leather here in the center portion. You've got your adjustments there on the side of the seat. You guys can see pedals down below. Light control right here. The steering wheel is automatically adjustable. And then if you guys are wondering, in terms of the back seats area with the Hellcat, there we go. You can fit adults back there. It is a little bit on the cramped side of things, so I'd recommend kids for most trips. But this is a muscle car that you can use as a family car. It's actually practical. So yes, that is a selling point for the wife as to why you should buy a Hellcat. It's a family car. So here's the steering wheel with the Hellcat. We've got really nice soft touch leather here at the top. And then down below you guys can see you've got this trim, but then you've got more soft touch leather. And then you've got the perforated leather so you get a little bit of a better grip. Paddle shifters for that 8-speed automatic. We got our cruise controls for the center stack. We have our voice command phone controls, and then there are radio controls on the back. We have our turn signal / windshield wiper stock, and well, that's all for the steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster. You got RPMs on the left side, on the right side you've got the speed, and then you do have the center stack, which you can scroll through a few different menus you guys can see. And also top speed of this car, someone already took it up to 95 miles an hour. I promise I won't tell on you. And other than that, you guys can see that's all for the center. And by the way, that wasn't me, okay? Now you guys can see here with the center infotainment system, first off we're going to pop it into reverse. We've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. Resolution's pretty good. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, first off you guys can see here with the seat controls, we do have heated seats and ventilated seats and a heated steering wheel. Response time with the screen is fantastic. We obviously have our SRT dashboard, which you guys can see all the stuff that is here, so it kind of lets you know what's happening and everything. We've got the drive modes you can go into, so we got our auto, custom, sport, and then we have our track mode. So cool that it shows you everything that changes with that mode, from the suspension to the transmission, all that fun stuff. And also it lets you know if you're using the red key or the black key, right? The red key for the husband, black key for the wife, or maybe it's flip-flop. You know what? Just saying. Down below, we've got our analog controls here for the radio. Got the SRT button right here, which pulls up the SRT dashboard. Launch control here with the parking sensors. And then you guys can see here with the climate controls, got dual zone climate. Shifter for that 8-speed automatic with the manual shift function. And you guys can see more cup holders right here. We've got the center console with nice leather and stitching. And then you can see inside here with the USBs, all that fun stuff. And then the stitching kind of continues along. And then it goes around this portion here. And then soft touch on the dash. Glove box is pretty practical, and then this one does have a sunroof added to it, which is definitely a nice feature, and got the grab handles, which are very important in a Hellcat. So here's a window sticker for this 2021 Hellcat. You guys can see the base price, and then there's a bunch of standard equipment like line lock. Pretty cool. Anyways, you guys can see that, and then the optional equipment on this one's got the Plus package, for example. Most expensive option, let's see, is actually the transmission. Funny enough, the 8-speed automatic is almost $3,000. Anyways, there's your total MSRP, $77,005. Let's take it out and see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. There's visibility over the hood, both mirrors, which do a blind spot, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So, setting off here in the Hellcat, and obviously I own a TRX, but it's been quite some time since I've driven a Hellcat car, and I guess this is Hellcat day because I drove my TRX down to the dealership to get it serviced. I drove a Trackhawk today, 800 horsepower, and now I'm driving a 717 horsepower Hellcat Challenger. So yeah, you know what, I am not going to complain about today. I'm going to say this is a pretty good day if you ask me. But setting off, this car sounds amazing, and actually driving all three Hellcats in one day, here's what I can say. The TRX feels the least Hellcat-ish, if that makes sense, right? It's this big floaty Baja truck, and so it doesn't feel as quick, like off the line and acceleration wise and all that kind of stuff, and it just floats all over the place. The Trackhawk's kind of in between. It says practical family SUV. It's soft, right? It's supple. It definitely is like a really good daily driver car, but it doesn't handle quite like the Challenger. The Challenger, on the other hand, is like the crazy, you know, handles really well, right? Because it's low to the ground, handling car that also is a complete smoke show because it's got 700 horsepower, 275 millimeter tires, and rear-wheel drive, whereas the TRX and the Trackhawk are both all-wheel drive. Anyways, we're gonna pop it into sport mode right here, so it's sport with everything, and we're gonna pop it into the manual mode. Ooh, sounds good. Sounds good. You know what? You can't beat the Hellcat powertrain sound. It's so quick. Here's what I have to say about the acceleration compared to the TRX and compared to the Trackhawk. Both of those grip way better than this. This, on the other hand, though, even though it doesn't get the grip because it's rear-wheel drive, once this thing hooks up, it just keeps pulling, and it feels like it pulls so much harder than both of those. And so that's kind of like, that's just what you get with this. And the weight transfer isn't as crazy, like especially in the TRX, it's so heavy and it's such a long vehicle, there's a huge weight transfer with the acceleration. Whereas the Challenger, on the other hand, it feels more like it's just straight to the point with the acceleration. So there's definitely that key benefits with the Challenger. And man, I don't know if we're even gonna be able to get, man, this is a sad day. Thought we were gonna be able to get an acceleration, but maybe not. You know, let's just kind of pitter patter here, a little bit slow. This person's like, why are you driving so slow in a Hellcat? So I can do that. It's just, oh, it's bonkers. But this car, you definitely have to be careful with it. You definitely have to be very aware of what's happening. You can't just punch it. This is the type of car where you've got to know the limits of the car, and you've got to really be able to like understand. So if you ever buy one of these, what I have to say is just like partial throttle and then like slowly get into more throttle, and then, you know, as you get into diving into the throttle more, you'll see that the car is going to spin all the time. Even it seems like it kind of stops spinning at like 50 miles an hour. And so then you're gonna have to get used to like what you have to do when the car spins, when you lose a little bit of control, right? You've got to be able to learn how to like just handle all the power. And then once you do that, right, it's tons of fun. Once you learn how to handle this car with all the power it has, it is an absolute riot. It's so fast, it's comfortable. This is the type of car that I would love one day to take on a road trip and just cruise, you know, at legal speeds, of course, but realistically, you know, well, let's say Mexico. Yeah, in Mexico, at like 120, 130 miles an hour, and you'd be able to do that. Yeah, you'd run out of gas pretty fast, but that's what this car is all about, is just those wide open stretches. And they're discontinuing the Hellcat engine. 2023 is the last year. And so what I'd have to say is, if you have the means, I'd recommend getting one before they aren't available anymore, because I know these are going to just skyrocket in value once the powertrain is discontinued, because, right, it's such a unique car. And so get one while they're still affordable. That's what I have to say. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2021 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Hellcat. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in that next video.